Hey guys, what is going on? Kevin here from XL Aquatics, here to provide another technical analysis video. Before we get started, just want to remind everyone, if you do enjoy the content, please make sure you smash the like button down below, subscribe to our content. That way, as we release more and more videos, you'll be notified, be able to watch, be able to give your feedback. So today's video was submitted by actually one of our Excel coaches, Anthonie B. Anthonie works with our pre-competitive and our triathlete swimmers, and he is also a competitive swimmer at the College of St. Rose. He does a lot of backstroke, butterfly, and freestyle. So the video that we are actually going to be going over today is of Anthonie's underwater dolphin kick. So for those of you who don't really do a lot of dolphin kick, triathletes in particular, this video I think can still be pretty interesting and educational in terms of when you do go to the pool. A lot of times you see competitive swimmers in the pool, when they push off the wall, instead of flutter kicking, they will dolphin kick. Very, very popular because it is, for the most part, for most people, the fastest way to carry your speed off of the wall every time you push off. So without further ado, we're going to watch Anthonie. This video that we do have is of Anthonie kicking on his back, all right, for backstrokers in particular, especially in yards, underwater dolphin kick. You can be an okay above water swimmer, have a phenomenal dolphin kick, and be very, very successful at the higher levels, again, in a 25-yard pool. Okay, so we're going to take a look at Anthonie's dolphin kick here. Talk about a couple principles that we like to focus on at Excel when we talk about the dolphin kick. So when we talk about the dolphin kick, there's a couple different things because of the movement of it that we focus on. The first is leverage. All right, there's a lot of physics in swimming, and it couldn't really be more evident than with our dolphin kick. Okay, leverage is pretty interesting concept, particularly in water. All right, when you're a swimmer, essentially your body suspended in a fluid. So every action, many of our swimmers have probably heard me say this, has some kind of reaction in the water. All right, now with our leverage, I believe it was Archimedes who said something along the lines of, give me a lever long enough, show me where the fulcrum is, and I can move the world. Our bodies, when we dolphin kick, are essentially a lever. Okay, so primary goal number one with our dolphin kick, we want to extend our body as long as possible. Okay, we want to have as long of a lever as possible. You can see Anthonie does a pretty good job with this. Okay, number two, we need to know where our fulcrum point is. Okay, our fulcrum point typically is at our chest. All right, the undulations from the dolphin kick, right, as Anthonie is kicking, you can see the undulations are going to initiate in the chest. All right, so again, leverage, very, very important. We want to extend as long as we can with our body, know where our fulcrum point is, which is at our chest. Okay, that's number one. Number two, right, we talk about leverage, we also have to talk about connectivity. Okay, when we dolphin kick underwater, we want to make sure that we are not breaking any point in our lever. All right, breaking any point in our lever. Now, if we look very, very carefully, all right, and this is something to really take note of with any competitive swimmer when they dolphin kick, you really want to watch the head and the arms. You can see a little bit if we're getting nitpicky. Anthonie's head is bobbing a little bit, which means that his arms are not connected. There's a little break in his lever. All right, if you watch carefully, can see his arms are moving up and down around his head instead of staying connected. That break is going to essentially disrupt his leverage, all right, his rhythm and his leverage. He's not going to be getting as much snap. All right, best analogy we can use, right? Many people have seen Indiana Jones, right? He loves to crack that whip. All right, the longer the whip, right, the more crack he's going to get, but that whip has to stay connected. If you cut that whip in any given point, right, you're not going to get nearly as much snap, okay? And eventually you wouldn't even get a crack out of it once it becomes small enough, okay? So point number two here, we talked about leverage, knowing our fulcrum point, staying connected. Any break in our snap, any break in our body when we are dolphin kicking is going to lead to not nearly as much snap in the kick, okay? Now, the third thing we want to talk about is where we want to emphasize the kick, okay? In swimming, anytime you kick, whether it's a flutter kick or a dolphin kick, right, either of those two kicks, you have what's called an upbeat and a downbeat, all right? So very, very simple. The upbeat, as the word describes, is the up part of the kick, okay? The downbeat is the down part of the kick. Now, depending on whether we're on our back or on our stomach, right, the more powerful part of the kick is going to change. All right, when we are on our back, this example is on our back, our upbeat is going to be where the majority of our snap, our power is initiated. I believe USA Swimming has done a couple of studies in terms of underwater dolphin kick, and just to round the numbers, about 2/3 of our power will come from the upbeat when we're on our back for dolphin kick. About 1/3 will come from the downbeat. Okay, so point being, when we are kicking on our back, we do get power from both sides of the kick, both the upbeat and the downbeat. However, since 2/3 is on the upbeat, we really want to emphasize that upbeat a little bit more than the downbeat. So you can see Anthonie does a pretty good job of emphasizing the upbeat. He's got a deep knee bend, which is going to allow him to really snap up, all right, and emphasize that upbeat. Okay. It's a pretty decent job here, emphasizing that upbeat. Just want to make sure we don't neglect the downbeat. The fourth principle, or point that we want to go over here, is our range of motion, okay? Now, again, what we have to keep in mind is every swimmer is a little bit different, all right? Different height, different length of the arms, certainly different torso size. So everyone's going to be a little bit different. However, we do want to emphasize and make sure that we keep a solid range of motion when we push off the wall. Typically, when we push off the wall, you're going to have your fastest speed, okay? Now, what we want to make sure is we start our kicks a little bit larger, essentially to help catch the water. All right. Similar to freestyle, we talk a lot with our triathletes and even our competitive swimmers in freestyle. You hear a lot about the catch. Okay. Pushing off the wall, making sure we keep a larger range of motion, essentially a larger amplitude, is going to help us develop a rhythm, develop a snap, and catch more water, particularly on the upbeat. As we extend further and further from the wall, we want to accelerate and start to tighten that kick up a little bit. Now, as we tighten the kick up, though, we don't want to tighten it up to the point that our feet aren't getting over our head. All right, so you can see Anthonie here. He had a good job doing a deep knee bend, but he ends up limiting the extension of his range of motion. Okay, now one way we can actually tinker with that a little bit, all right, you see we mentioned before a little disconnectivity between his arms and his head, is actually to tilt that chin down just a little bit, okay, because that's going to do two things. Number one, it's going to make it easier for him to connect his arms to his head, all right, keeping a good streamlined position. Number two, it's going to allow him to actually have a little bit of a better range of motion, all right, with his feet. Okay, and in watching this video, you can even try this at home. All right, we talk a lot about getting our arms behind our head when we streamline, not squeezing our ears. You can see some of the best underwater dolphin kickers in the world. Michael Phelps, you look at any YouTube videos of him swimming at the Olympics, he is amazing in getting his arms behind his head. Okay, getting his arms behind his head makes it easier to connect and therefore not disconnect when we're snapping our dolphin kick, number one. Number two, it's going to allow us to be a little bit more flexible. Okay, if you try and keep your chin back, right, and arms behind your head, it's going to be really hard to maneuver your body up and down. Vice versa, if you tuck your chin just a little bit, again, not all the way down, but just enough to have some curvature in the back, it's going to be easier to get the arms behind the head, and then it's going to be easier to have a better range of motion. Okay, now again, everyone is a little bit different. Some swimmers aren't really going to have to move their chin much to get their arms behind their head. They have very flexible shoulders, right? Maybe very flexible hips, able to drive up, good hamstring flexibility, drive up much, much easier than others. Vice versa, someone like myself, I have to bring my chin down a little bit more, a little more curvature in the back, but I'm going to get a lot more snap, power, range of motion. Okay, so to recap here, number one, when we're working on dolphin kick, we have to understand leverage. All right, the longer the lever, the more snap we're going to have, making sure the snap is initiated at the chest, which is our fulcrum point. Okay. Second thing, understanding our upbeat versus our downbeat. Again, when we are on our back, 2/3 of the power is going to come from the upbeat, 1/3 going to come from the downbeat. Okay, making sure we have a deep knee bend to really emphasize that upbeat while at the same time not fully dismissing the downbeat and letting our legs just slowly fall. We do want to put some effort into that downbeat. Third and final, range of motion. Okay, not just the deep knee bend, but we want to try and get those feet above the head, and the way that we can tinker with that and we have less flexibility is making sure that we tuck the chin just a little bit, allowing us to stay connected, take advantage of our leverage first and foremost, but also have a better range of motion with our feet. Thank you all for watching. If you do have any questions, particularly on this video, whether you're a competitive swimmer or a triathlete, please feel free. You can shoot us an email, comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe, send in your videos, and we will see you guys soon. Thank you.